with what's going on in the entertainment world with the entertainment reporter for The James Show, the great Pugs Moran, Dallas radio legend Pugs Moran. Welcome back to The James Show, Pugs.
Hi, James. Glad to be back.
All right, so in the entertainment world, let's start with the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. This is something that we all used to look forward to. Little teenage James growing up in East Texas, this used to be the window into the world of beautiful women like none other. Now, two things have happened. Number one, the novelty of the ability to see beautiful women scantily clad in swimsuits or less has been diminished by their availability on the internet. There's nothing great about the swimsuit issue anymore. If you want to see a beautiful woman in a bikini, go to Google, type in beautiful woman in a bikini. You can see a million. And then on top of that, they haven't tried to make up that lost novelty with the traditional standards of beauty. They've started to throw in mutants the last few years. And so now when we talk about the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, it's not a matter of excitement like, oh, what awesome thing am I going to see now? It's, oh, what horrible thing am I going to see now?
Well, you know, the thing, you and I are separated by a couple of years. You're one of them punk millennials, and I'm Gen X. To us, you know, we didn't have the Maxims or the FHMs. We had National Geographic, Playboy, and then once a year the Swimsuit Edition. And, James, it's how supermodels became supermodels. I mean, Paulina Poroskova or an Elle Macpherson or a Kathy Ireland. People weren't familiar with these girls because they paid attention to the catwalks of Paris and Milan. We were familiar with them because once a year they appeared in the Sports Illustrated. That's why supermodels became a thing. It was a generational and really a national phenomenon. This was something that was hotly anticipated every year by a certain generation of boy. And James, I don't understand what the business model is now. Look, it was obvious what it was in the past. Sports Illustrated was a highly respected sports journalism magazine who once a year tried to juice their quarterly numbers by selling sex.
Yeah, and look, for people who aren't comfortable buying hardcore porn, this is a softer, socially acceptable version of the same dopamine hit that you get, like, oh, beautiful women, go, let me turn the pages, oh, there's another one. So it's the same ballpark, maybe not the same arena, but the same sport.
Exactly. It was, look, they needed to sell, sex sells, you know, these stodgy sports journalists with all their sports awards and stuff, they recognized that at the end of the year they needed to sell copies, and it would be nice to have 1 month a year that sells 10 times the amount of copies that they do in a normal one. And that's where this came from. So what is this business model of the last couple of years? I guess we buried the lead here. Sports Illustrated has chosen as their swimsuit cover model for 2024, like, 70-year-old Gayle King. CBS this morning's Gayle King.
What they did, Martha Stewart, was that last year or 2 years ago?
Did they do Martha Stewart? I remember they did a bunch of WNBA players a couple of years ago.
Well, here's the cheating thing that they do as well. There's 7 different covers, so 7 different people can claim the title. I was the cover model on the swimsuit issue. But you and I know that the swimsuit issue, who goes to the store and like buys this printout of a magazine with all these pages on it and even sees the cover? Like, does anyone even buy Sports Illustrated anymore? When's the last time you bought a Sports Illustrated? So covers mean nothing because no one reads magazines anymore. How about what's going to be on the top of the website if I search it? That's what the real cover is.
Even Sports Illustrated was still an actual functioning magazine until 10:30 this morning. 10:30 this morning, I realized that it was an actual still thing. I thought it'd been gone for years.
Did they still print it?
Apparently, yeah.
Wow.
That's what this story is about. When was the last time you've seen a Sports Illustrated in the wild?
Yeah, like at my dentist office maybe 10 years ago. But now when you go to the dentist office, everyone's just jacking around on their phone.
Right, yeah.
All right, so Gayle King is one of them. Of the other 7, though, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that. There's one that I'm super happy to see, and that is the beautiful Kate Upton is one of the 7. Happy about that.
That's legit Sports Illustrated swimsuit model material.
So why? What's your theory then? Certainly, you've got a theory on why they've turned it in from the most beautiful women in the world to the bar scene from Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are they? They talked about how placing Gayle King, a woman of her age, on there is empowering to women and all that, and I can see that. I can see how an older woman might be like, "Look at her, she's on the cover." But are those people buying Sports Illustrated? I don't understand the marketing at all of this. I don't know anybody who would want to buy the one with the cover of Gayle King is not somebody who would ever buy Sports Illustrated, in my opinion.
Maybe they're looking for that rare crossover purchase. Maybe this will encourage some people who would never buy it to buy it. No one's going to buy that. Some of the other...
She probably doesn't even like sports. I don't think she's not even in the sports world. Now, if this was like, I don't know, Sage Steele or somebody, then I could see it. But
she probably doesn't even like illustrations either. Okay, another one of the 7 models, Chrissy Teigen. Okay, that kind of fits. She's still in good shape. I saw the picture. She looks good.
She is basically that's what she's built for. That's what she's famous for. This kind of thing.
All right.
Being Oprah's friend, which is what Gayle is famous for. Let's stop kidding around. She was a local reporter in Raleigh, North Carolina, when Oprah, her best friend, hit it big and dragged her up to the top with her. That's who Gayle King is. Now she's a Sports Illustrated model.
Yeah, I don't really know any of these other ladies, but those are the big ones. Well, good for Gayle King. Good for her to, I don't know, still be able to be a sex symbol in your 70s. Is that what we're aiming for?
Yeah, it's very empowering. You feel very empowered? I do.
Yeah, people are looking at me like a piece of meat. This is great.
Right.
I'm not respected for my accomplishments in my brain and my career. I'm respected for my body.
I don't have a problem with Gayle King. I have a problem with trying to figure out what the business model of this is.
Well,
what's the plan here? I don't understand her.
Here's the part of me that's sympathetic to this cause, though. We make fun of older people being in the swimsuit issue, but it has been my observation that maybe it's just because I'm getting old, but 50-year-old women, so many of them still count as what we would call as a teenage immature boy, hot. And I don't know if it's just because I'm older and so I'm more open to the idea of a 50-year-old woman being hot, but I don't think that's it. I think more so than previous generations or when we were kids, 50-year-olds eat better, they work out better, they keep their hair up, they still do the makeup thing, they still dress hot, and there's a whole sort of industry that caters to maintaining your sex goddess status up into, I don't know, about age 70 is where it sort of cuts off now.
That haircut that all women got at 50 years old.
The Karen haircut? Yeah.
No, that's a more recent one. I'm thinking of the one that all of our grandmas had between 50 and 100, that cotton top thing.
Oh, the Betty White. Yes.
Yeah, the Betty White. That's not a thing anymore. Like, we don't see that anymore. I think that was a haircut that those women chose prematurely, and it aged them. Now we've got, it's all of the above that you cited. It's that you're 50 and you're still attracted to people who are 50, and women and people in general are just healthier and they're living longer and they're looking better longer.
I want to bring up something with you, Pugs, because this is something I don't normally care about. Unlike the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, I have no great loving history with the Miss America or Miss Teen USA pageant. And both of these ladies have resigned. The sitting Miss USA and Miss Teen USA have both stepped down. Now, from what I've heard is the first runners-up will assume their duties. Ha, 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 make a joke there. But here's where it got a little hairy. In the letter sent in where Miss USA is resigning, she says all this stuff that sounds kind of like a sort of a word salad, like you asked Chat GPT to write you a resignation letter. Like it didn't really sound like a human being wrote it. Well, some sleuths, the Scooby-Doo people on the internet, looked at the letter, and someone pointed out, if you take the first letter of each one of these words, it spells out, I am silenced. And oh my goodness, it does. So now the theory is there is some sort of NDA, non-disclosure agreement that's been signed, kind of like the Stormy Daniels situation where she has some real legitimate complaints. She's just legally prevented from talking about it publicly. Pugs, do you have any inside scoop on this? Because I saw the headlines like, whoop-de-doo, they resigned, whatever. But now I'm like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah, I just know that I saw one of them had resigned, and they said that the reason was that their personal values no longer fully align with the direction of the organization. I don't know what any of this means, and the I am silence thing is very creepy.
So
I mean, I don't. First, come on, I don't know anything about this stuff. You don't know. Does anybody in the year 2024 follow this? This is one of those things that, James, I always say, if you picked a random guy on the street in 1955 and asked him 3 questions: who won the Kentucky Derby, who's the heavyweight champion of the world, and name Miss America, they could do all 3. Today, that's not a thing. I mean, this is such an archaic issue, but I am fascinated by the I am silenced aspect of this.
Right. So we don't know anything now, but something more is going to come out of this, and it may end up being a movie. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Pug, since you're the entertainment reporter, is keep an eye out for this Amy Winehouse movie that they're making about her. I have a feeling it's kind of too soon, but kind of not. And I don't know if there's just anything more to the story than there was a girl who could sing really good, but she liked drugs.
Yeah, she liked drugs. She was really talented. Yeah, so did you see the documentary? I thought the documentary that was done about 5 years ago about her was incredibly interesting, and I do think that it lends itself to a dramatic film. So I'll see it, but I like all of that stuff, man.
Well, I usually do too, but this one's going to be called Back to Black, which was the name of one of her albums. There was one 5 years ago. I didn't know about that.
Well, no, this was the documentary. The documentary that you're talking about, Back to Black, which is the actual film, right?
The biopic, yeah.
Yeah, with an actress playing her. I think it's just called Amy, and it was on Netflix for the longest time. It was very, very good.
Ooh.
A lot of stuff about her father. She had a rough life. She's a wildly talented girl, rough life, a lot of demons, didn't have much guidance, and you make them a millionaire. And
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Hey, one thing I did want to mention to you, are you following the Steve Buscemi story?
Not at all. I'm a big Steve Buscemi fan. What's going on with him?
Oh, who doesn't love Steve Buscemi? Steve Buscemi, he's
from The Big Lebowski, right?
Of course. Boardwalk Empire.
Everything. Yeah. Fargo.
Everything. Steve Buscemi is in a group of guys that I like to call the Sickly Six. They are the ugliest actors in Hollywood. It's Buscemi, Paul Giamatti, William Dafoe, Ron Perlman, John C. Reilly,
right,
and Jonah Hill. For some reason, these are the Sickly Six. These are the actors that are allowed to be ugly and famous. Buscemi has been victimized by this New York City craze of just randomly punching people in the face on the street. Buscemi was walking down the street over the weekend in New York City, and some dude just cold-cocked him, sent him to the emergency room, broke his eye, really messed him up pretty bad. So we can add Rick Moranis got cold-cocked last year. Steve Buscemi's Boardwalk Empire co-star Michael Stuhlbarg got hit with a rock a couple of months ago. What's going on in New York? People are just punching celebrities in the face.
Hey, it's a new craze. All the cool kids are doing it. We'll keep an eye on it, though. Thank you very much for another edition of Entertainment News with the great Pugs Moran. Radio Misfits is his outfit where you can catch him outside of the James Show. Go to radiomisfits.com. Thank you, Pugs.